Hi, Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. I have to look for wood and get it when I can get it. A couple of years ago, a neighbor was cutting down a tree. Zelcova was what they said it was. I was a bit skeptical. It was a little bit not so wide, and when we cut into it a little bit, the grain didn't look that exciting or interesting. But I took a couple of pieces and rough turned it anyway. Well, I am mighty glad I did, because this is a beautiful little bowl. It is the grain, yes, it had wide actually growth rings on it, but in between the wood actually reminds me of sycamore in the grain pattern that's detailed in there. Sorry you won't be able to see that very well in the pictures, but it is a beautiful little bowl. I'm very glad that I rough turned it. Yeah, it's been drying for quite a while. Let's finish it now. I'll show you the whole thing. So let's turn it.
This is fresh, wet zelcova wood harvested from a neighbor's yard. I'm not familiar with this wood, but we'll turn it anyway. The wood round has been ripped in half through the pith. I do not try to use a bandsaw to cut corners very often, at least, and definitely not in this case. I would rather keep my flexibility and be able to adjust the blank and not have a corner cut out and limit my options. This wood is pressed against my spike faceplate, a faceplate with drywall screws poking through the surface. The live center provides sufficient pressure to keep the wood secure. I did drill a hole through the bark into sound wood for the live center. However, initial cutting with my large bowl gouge will go slowly until the corners get cut round. Once round, I increase the speed to make cutting go much better. Then I can refine the shape, remembering that this will be rough turned, leaving a thick wall to allow for finish turning later. I also need to cut a tenon. Just above the tenon is another recess that allows my eyes to flow across the bottom without worrying about the tenon. Now that the wood is reversed into a chuck, I can address the top and interior. I could do some on the exterior also, but since this is to be finished turned later, exterior trimming is not needed. After trimming the top, I can focus on hollowing with my bowl gouge. I aim to leave the walls about an inch thick.
Well, so I took it off the lathe. I sealed it with a PVA base sealer that looks a lot like PVA glue. Put it away for a while, then weighed it periodically. It has lost over 200 some odd grams in the process. Almost 2 years that it has been weighing, and it has warped. You can see here that it has warped that much just in the very bottom, and it's shrunk about a ½ inch this way, and I'm not sure you can see this on the camera, but the ends are about ½ inch higher. So it's going to be an issue to remount this, but I did keep the original center hole, so wish me luck.
There are many ways to remount a bowl. Most depend on the original center hole or divot for accuracy. My favorite is to press the interior of the bowl against a chuck with closed jaws. I've tried sanding the rim flat, faceplates with blocks that support the lower warped rim, but I like this way because I can cut away the warp with turning gouges. No need to pad the chuck since I'm going to cut away a substantial amount of the wall thickness anyway. It is quite stable, but no matter how much I turn the exterior at this point, I will trim it a little more once I can mount it more securely. With this much warp, I quickly focus on the top of the rim. This will trim away most of the off-center weight and allow the bowl to run more truly. This wood is much harder than I expected from when I was turning it wet. It is hard to guess final toughness when it is still wet and soft. With the bowl running smoothly, I can switch focus to the tenon. It also has warped quite a bit. I trim it back with a spindle gouge and a skew. One essential check is to ensure the wood is flat where the top of the jaws will be. Now for a secure mount using the returned tenon. The wood should be very stable and run smoothly now. First, I trim the exterior again with a shear cut to remove any impact of an axis shift. Then move on to hollowing the interior. This is always tough going to begin with, due to the warp and hard wood. The first few cuts are to remove the warped wood, then I can move on to thinning down the wall and getting a smooth surface. I finish up the very bottom with a heavy bowl scraper, then power sanding through all the grits. Again, there are many ways to finish the foot. Many involve carving or extensive sanding. My current favorite for this sort of bowl are coal jaws. The main disadvantage is the requirement to keep the lathe speed painfully slow. This makes cutting slow and tough. What would take only a minute or two at normal speed takes several times that long. Still, it is better for me than carving and heavy sanding. Then sand the freshly tooled surface. Finally, a bath in walnut oil brightens the wood. This is an unexpected beauty. When cut, I saw wide rings and thought it would be quite soft. Fortunately, I was wrong. Yes, there are wide rings, but the wood is hard and with a consistent density. In between the rings, the wood has a lot of character. While I may never have an opportunity to turn this wood again after the couple of pieces I got from my neighbor, it was a great wood to turn. Goes to show that I cannot judge well from what a fresh, unfamiliar wood looks like. It is pretty. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe on my website, and tell your friends about my videos. I appreciate your comments and questions. Every week I add a new wood turning video to my website. Always, please wear your full face shield anytime the lathe is running. A face shield saved my life and it can save yours. If you use it, I will be able to see you again next week.